Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be redoing the street diorama here. Recently, I've decided I want to redo a lot of my older sets just because they kind of look cheap, and I want to get away from the whole comic book aesthetic and make my sets look a little bit more on the realistic side. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to attempt recreating my street dio with a little bit more of the 3D elements and more realistic look to them. So for this dio, I'm going to be using this 20 by 30 foam board that I picked up from the dollar store. So if you want to attempt doing this yourself, it's very cheap to go about doing it. What I have in mind is I'm going to be sculpting the buildings and wall right onto the actual poster board here, and why I want to go about doing that so I can have the pieces all be individual, so I can kind of mix and match them with different sets once I'm actually finished a bunch of them. I also want it to be a little bit easier to go about moving my sets instead of having this huge kind of box. I think just having the sets be able to be taken apart is a lot easier for moving stuff around. But what I have in mind here is I have this textured spray paint that I'm going to be putting on this foam board first, a couple coats of that, maybe some lighter gray. Then once that's dried, I'm going to be going over top of that with some clear coats and some other darker shades of paint and trying to make it look a little bit more grimy and realistic. So when it comes to paint, I've been using this Rust-Oleum brand, and I've liked it so far. I've been using this textured gray as well as this textured brown color. And you can see on the lids here, they have that texture that you're going to be getting with the actual spray paint. So I've been putting a couple coats of this on the actual poster board to kind of get that aesthetic. And this is kind of the vibe I have going for it once it's all finished. As it was drying, I was throwing little things of dirt and moss in the actual board itself. I've been mixing clear coat and different shades of paint as it's drying to kind of get this off-colored kind of vibe to it. It's kind of hard to explain, but I will be showing you what I mean. These boards be warped though. So, dang, I kind of, obviously my intention is I was going to have the two boards be, well, I was assuming laid straight, flat on the floor, but I'm going to have to kind of warp them back a little bit. So it's kind of annoying. It's kind of interesting to see how bare this is. But this is the overall idea. Hopefully I'm able to flatten these out a little bit more. I'll probably try and fold them back, maybe put weights on them to straighten them out, hopefully. But once these are straightened out, and these will be the parts of the road, I'm still going to paint the dividers on the actual road there. And for the poster board, I'm also going to have it standing up at the back. And like I was saying earlier about wanting it to not fully connect, is I'll just be laying two boards side by side and two boards at the back side by side. So overall, it'll look like it's a bigger set, but once you can take them down, you can kind of mix and match, I guess, some of the aesthetic there. So I guess let's try and straighten these. Buddy, come get her. Okay, so I've attempted to try and bend back this board, but it is just warped. So what I think I'm going to attempt doing is I want to just glue this to an already existing board that I haven't touched yet, and once it's gluing, I'm going to weigh it down each side, and hopefully it will just make the top half a lot more straight. And I'm going to do the same thing with the second one I've already done the custom work on, and hopefully both of them will be a lot more level. Then once that's done, this will be my main road idea, and I like all the different details and stuff I have going on here. There's different clear coats and different gloss and flat matte acrylic that I put in here as it was drying to kind of give this natural wet kind of look to it. I really enjoy how it looks. It looks kind of gross and yucky, and like it's been rained on, cars have been driving all over it. I kind of like the aesthetic of it, and I would like to use it. So hopefully once I glue it to the bottom of this one here, and it's able to, well, be straight, be a board. I can use it. Look at this. I'm playing with my toys on it. Look there. Pretty good. So I'm just going to attempt to try and hot glue the bottom of this board as quickly as I can, and before it dries up here, I'm going to lay out the top piece of this board, and hopefully it straightens it out. If not, I will attempt something else. As well as these older buildings that I made, I'm going to take them apart here just because I enjoy the thickness of both of these and I want to make it its own building. And this is kind of the aesthetic I'm gonna go for. I might add the top of the roof there as well, and I might try and figure out a way to even this side out. But I think this will kind of look cool as a building I can use either on the sides of a diorama or kind of near the back, just having the corner of the building there. And I want to do the same thing with these ones as well. I'm gonna put it in the corner here, and again, this is gonna be painted to be one building. I like the aesthetic of having the clothesline there and like the AC unit. I'm probably gonna make those make the AC unit with clay, and I'll probably cut out some pieces of cloth to get that same effect. I'll probably take off some of the stickers I have here, like this Metallica one. I would like to have that on the newer set. But yeah, gonna try and do the same thing here, having just a bit more to scale building. And again, right here, I'm just gluing more poster board to the back of an already made street dio, just some of the ground I did for an alleyway display. Okay, so right now I am about to start work on one of the newer building looks. I have some air dry clay that I'm going to be putting all over this piece of cardboard here, and then as it's drying, I'm going to be sculpting in the brick details to kind of make it look like it's an actual building. Usually I use this air dry clay just from Crayola. So far I've enjoyed using it and it works pretty well, but I'm going to save the Crayola one for the actual kind of like foam board piece of building. This one I'm going to use different air dry clay. I've used it before and it's kind of prone to cracking a bit, so I'm going to use that up on this one here and save the better clay for the dio that I'll be using a bit more in my videos. And it might kind of give like a cool effect, like the building's been cracking over time. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be looking terrible, but we're gonna jump into that right now. This natural molding clay is the one I'll be using for this building. It's just some cheap stuff I got from the dollar store, which is probably why it cracks. I was also gonna use gloves because using the clay, I hate when my hands are all covered in like the clay muck. And I could only find one, so if you're wondering why I'm only wearing one, it's because I literally could only find one. Yeah, it's a hip new style, one glove. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is what the side of the building is looking like with the clay put onto it. Obviously, you've seen I kind of like smeared all the clay all over top of the cardboard here, and I carved the little brick pattern, and I'm gonna wait for this to dry right now. I kind of left the bottom here without clay just so it kind of gives that look that it's cracked at the bottom, and it probably will crack at the bottom. I like this white kind of clay look, the dried clay look. I'm probably going to keep that color and then paint the bricks obviously once it's done here. I also noticed how kind of warped this side was. It still kind of is a little warped, but I cut it. I probably should have done that before I did the clay, but it's okay, it doesn't really matter. I also have this kind of sponge brush. It's at the end of its rope, so I decided that I would use it for like the brick detail, at least to kind of get some variety of the brick wall. I added little bullet holes kind of all over the place, some scrapes and stuff like that to give some detail, which you can see a little bit better once it's all painted up. So I'm gonna let this dry. Hopefully the whole thing doesn't crack. Once the whole thing dries, I'm probably going to actually cut out some foam board and glue it to the back of this so it's a bit more sturdy. And once that's done, I'm going to paint the whole thing, probably a brown coat of paint first. Let that dry. I'll go over top of it with different shades of red and brown and black, and kind of dry brush it off, make it look like it's been used and it's actually out there in the world. I'm gonna add moss as well into some of the bricks and like vines and stuff, like it's been growing through the building. And then I'm also gonna add graffiti, so I'm very excited to get that part. Just gonna let this dry up first. So the wall has finished drying up here, or fairly close to finished up drying, and you can see it's definitely cracked a lot, and a lot of the brick pieces have fallen off. Hey, pretty cool. So the board warped a little bit as well, so I probably should have glued this on the back before I did all the clay. I'm gonna glue that on now, and I'm going to try and salvage this as much as I can by gluing some of the bricks back on here. It's probably just going to have this very broken, crumbly aesthetic to it, which might work to my benefit. Hopefully it over time isn't absolutely ruined, but I might try and work with it here. Sorry, the washing machine is going. But hopefully, yeah, I might be able to salvage it. So I'm gonna hot glue this on the back of that foam board here, try and glue some of the pieces back in place. I also picked up these water-based pens here, so I'm excited to use these. I'm gonna use them for graffiti once the paint is done drying on this wall here. And when it comes to this building here, I just have this foam that I cut out that I'm gonna glue here just so this part is smooth when I line up the other pieces of cardboard, so it doesn't have those kind of like ridges on the side there. So that's what I got for this guy here. Okay, so I kind of jumped ahead here and I clear coated over top of the clay. First, I added a bit more clay here, and I'm just kind of winging it. Honestly, I'm just gonna see what's happening. I added brown paint as well as some textured brown paint, put that on here, and I added some individual bricks that I'm going to glue back on top of. I'm probably gonna get crazy glue and just put crazy glue all over the whole thing, and hopefully it somewhat holds shape. I was hoping maybe the paint will hold together. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just hoping that it works here, bro. Yeah, I don't know. Here's hoping, I guess. You can. It looks. I don't know. It might work. As long as the whole main thing kind of holds itself together, that's all good with me. I need to get crazy glue, so I'll get those on there later. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is what one of the buildings is looking like so far, and I think it's turning out looking cool. It's dope to have a bit more to scale building that I'm working on here, and it's kind of got that illusion going on here just because only that side is going to be done. I might just paint this black, or I don't know, just leave it like that. I put the foam board, cut the pieces off to have the kind of like brim there of the roof, or the building, I guess. This is the roof here, and I'm gonna paint that gonna be gray, that's gonna be gray. And with these little pieces here, I'm going to glue them on the sides and have them going all the way down. But it's kind of dope. It's not really much right now, but I'm excited to paint this up and add all the graffiti and stuff. I might, I'm not sure what I want to do with the brick details on this one, just because I'm running low on air dry clay. I might have to pick some more of that up. I might just add a little bit of brick detail, like 2 or 3 like that. And I might just spray paint this with the textured spray paint that I have to kind of give that cement look. I've also seen some like brick detailed sticker things on Amazon that I might try and use. They're like 3D mats, I guess. I don't really know what you'd call them, but you can get a certain length of the brick detail, and I've kind of wanted to try them out. I might use that for maybe this building, different, something different. I don't know. Looking cool. Hey, building. Nah, that goes off, bro. I'm really messing with the scale of this. Like having a building that's actually a bit more to scale than just a piece of paper. So this building here, well, look at this ghost eye. So this building, it's going to be probably at the very end here, and I am working on the background here. What is this ghost Casper at? These boards here, actually, I've glued 2 foam boards together, and obviously they're the same length as these. They're going to be put up at the back. They are going to be the new background, the new street dio. And you can see here I have these garbage bins that I've done a video on, and I've done these kind of newer street posts that I've also done a video on. I'm just totally redoing all my sets and trying to make them a bit more to quality, I guess, quality to what I want them to look like now. Oh, it might have worked. Just kind of hoping that the paint would dry and keep the clay in place. I'm still gonna try and hit it with crazy glue afterwards, but that's really cool. I'm very excited about that. So off camera here, I've added a bit more air dry clay just kind of on the building here. And this was the same clay I used on that previous brick wall. So the clay is probably going to crack, but that's kind of what I've been hoping for just for this one. Just because it's going to add a little bit more detail. The main base is sturdy, so if some of the clay is cracking off, it's going to kind of look a little bit more genuine, like it's the building itself has been cracking. So I'm not too torn up if the actual clay is falling off a bit. I'm probably going to hit it with a clear coat before the clay fully dries to maybe keep it there a bit longer. I don't really know if it will or not, but I'm going to tear that up right now. Okay, so this time around when it comes to the actual street dio here, I am going to try and make it a little bit bigger. I want to keep the scale in mind here. Got a 6-inch figure. So when it comes to the buildings, I'm probably gonna, where do I want the building here? Because I know I kind of want to keep the same aesthetic as the last one, but obviously more up to date. So I know I want like the brick wall to be here, so maybe I'll throw the building here, put the actual brick wall on here. So now when it comes to this one, because again, maybe I'll just make this whole thing the brick wall. I'll make this whole thing a building, and then at the top here, top of the building. Door there. Okay. Be a little light. And then this is gonna be the brick wall. The wanted poster and stuff I'm gonna put on afterwards. Again, yeah, the trash can's gonna be in front. And I could probably put another building in the foreground in front of this, so it kind of will fill up this spot here, because I do want more buildings here. I just want them to be to scale. I might make this a little bit bigger actually. Still the wall, so the door. Here. Okay, I'm liking that. And I might have other buildings in the back here. You know what I think? Oh, there goes the light. We're running out of storage and my phone's almost dying. Okay, so what I got going on here is I did a very quick sketch of what I want the second poster board to look like. As you can see here, I went with a comic shop, obviously. It's gonna be Stan's Comics, legend. And I have a pretty cool idea for this guy. Is once all the building stuff is going to be done and the details are done in the back, in the front here, I think I'm going to have a colored piece of paper in the back, and I'm going to draw all the details of the inside of the store here. I want some figures and comics to be in the window, and once the inside is all drawn, I want to have this effect. Like you can see, the back of the store is smaller, the walls are coming to the front here. I actually learned this one in art school. No art class. I ain't paying for art school. Whatever. Like I was once this is all filled here, I want to cut out a Marvel Legends box and have that piece of plastic, that clear piece of plastic at the front here, and then I'm going to, maybe with paint or white paper, have the effects that it's, you can see like the glare of that overall window. And I think that's going to be a really cool effect to have the plastic look like the glass door. Same with the windows here. And this will just be another regular building, which I'm going to add all the details, probably some windows at the top there. The sky is going to be painted blue, and I'm going to have white clouds and stuff like that in the back once it's all done. And you can see I'm also going to add some buildings at the back there as well. And I might also kind of raise these in the back. I, I might use foam board or cardboard at the front here, so it kind of gives a little bit more dimension. And I might actually just draw those on in the back so it looks like they're further away. That might be kind of cool. And this is going to be the same deal. I don't know how much clay I'm going to be using for this one. I might just need the little bit here. And what I enjoy about this is I could technically just use this as its own video, or this opposite side or opposite piece as its own video for a background for a video. Oh my goodness. Or I could put them both together and the brick wall will line up. So I think that's a cool way to go about that. I'm probably going to use cutout foam board to add the dimension for the buildings at the front here, and again maybe that one in the back. And I'll add some clay and I'll show you what I got going on in a little bit here. So I just cut out the building shape here out of the foam board, and I cut out where the door is going to be. I'm just going to trace where the outline is, and then this will be the door. Previously I picked up these little door hinges, which I'm going to use again with little magnets. I think I'm going to put them in the corner of where this comic shop is going to be, just with these guys here. I'll glue them to the corners like I said, and then I'll glue the magnets to the back of the comic shop, so I'll be able to place it on the dio, but be able to take the comic shop off and maybe switch it with a different building. Just because it kind of happened, I don't know where you had the idea of it, that maybe I don't want the comic shop to be there forever, and maybe for different videos I'll just switch out the building. And as I was thinking about that, I also got the idea that maybe before I glue this down, I could also do like a broken building, like maybe someone got punched through it and you can see the effects of the building being collapsed, something like that. I don't know if I'll do that, but I kind of like the idea of different buildings going here. And again over here, this is the brick wall with clay. I added that texture detail with the spray paint. Obviously I haven't painted it yet, but having that detail in the back here first, when it's painted over, it's going to look a lot more realistic. And I've cut out the building piece here. It's going to go there. That piece is going to be at the top of the building. I've been cutting out little pieces for the buildings that are going to be in the back there. And this is kind of the idea of what it's going to look like. So it's coming together quite well. It's nothing much right now, but I think it's turning out kind of cool. Okay, so I kind of got a lot going on here just because I want to get everything assembled for what I'm going to spray paint with that textured cement look. So I'm getting that all done right now. What I'm doing is I glued these little window cells here. Window frames? Window cell? I don't know. Can't be window cell. That's window frame. I have no idea. These little suckers, I got 2 of those, and I'm working on just adding all these little details just kind of before I paint it up and everything. I have individual little pieces of clay that I've used for the brick detail, so those will get glued on once they've dried. Again, with the door here, I just cut it out from the actual thing, and I'll be using those door hinges. When it comes to this wall here, it has kind of been getting a little frustrating just because every time you pick it up, it's like crumbling and falling apart. And I've tried gluing it together and gluing on other bricks to try and at least have like the main base of it be sturdy. I don't know if there's like, it's necessarily wrong if some of the bricks are like falling off, because it almost kind of works to its advantage. But I don't know. I'll try painting it up, and if it keeps just falling apart, I might just throw it away. But I'm trying to fix it somewhat, because like it does get, like, brick walls do crack and fall apart and everything, so I might just try and keep it as is, and this one will be a very damaged brick wall. But if like it's the whole thing's falling apart, I'll get rid of it. And this one I think was gonna be another woohoo buddy, another kind of like half building is what I was trying to go for here. And with this side, I'll probably just add those like styrofoam, cardboard, clay, brick detail. I don't know if I'm gonna go this route because clearly that didn't work. Excuse me. I have this clear plastic from a piece of clothing that I will cut out and glue to the back of these once these have the cement spray paint on them. And I want to have details inside the window before this gets glued to the plastic, and then this gets glued here finally. So I'm probably gonna have yellow construction paper and then have some details on the inside like someone's like living room, and then I'll probably have curtains out of cloth material at the front, and hopefully it turns out looking cool. But I think for the most part that's kind of it. That chip box there will become another building. That's gonna be the parking lot piece there in the back. Yeah, I like this idea too, because I searched up on Google just like brick buildings, and a lot of them have like this design where there's like stuff kind of coming from like that. So I might try and incorporate that like aesthetic to these buildings as well. But right now, I'm just literally using a pair of scissors and taking the thing apart right now. So I will show you what I got coming up next. Okay, so off camera here, I sculpted a bunch of little parts that I'm going to be adding to the buildings and different dios here, and I'm just in the process of painting them now. I can't wait to add some graffiti to this cinder block there, but yeah, paint, hey. And I added that textured spray paint to some of the buildings here. They're kind of splayed out everywhere, but they're gonna finish drying up, and then I'm gonna hit them with a different coat of paint. Okay, so for the most part, I just got finished dry brushing this building here. Right now, I am adding this kind of foam, thin foam material, and it's going to be glued behind the windowsill here. And right now, I'm just cutting out what is going to be curtains. I'm going to fold them up and glue them together so you can kind of see like the layers. Shrek is ruining that word for me. It's got like a jump scare of like Shrek's face. Layers. Oh my. It's gonna be kind of glued like that, except without all the tears. Foam, fabric, and I'm gonna have the clear piece of plastic, and this is gonna be glued over top of all of it. And I'm gonna glue probably some moss and stuff just on the side of the window, and I think it's gonna look pretty dope. So what I'm about to do right now is paint the background here. I'm probably just gonna keep it blue in the sky, and then I'm going to color in. Can you get out of my way, bro? I'm out there fighting back. I'm gonna paint the back blue like I was saying, and you can see I have some raised pieces that are gonna be buildings that are kind of a bit closer, and then I'm gonna color in buildings that are a bit further back. This building is going to be glued here, and this was the building that had the magnets, so I could remove and swap out the two different buildings. And this is what the buildings are looking like with some of that textured spray paint on it. It was kind of running out of paint, but I just kind of wanted the building to at least have the detail, because it's going to get painted over anyways, so as long as it kind of has that cool looking grit to it, we all good. I've already started painting one of these buildings and adding the windows and stuff. I don't really know where I put it, but it's around here. It's in this mess. So I'm probably just going to be vibing and painting this all up. And then I'll show you some of the work I've got going on. Yep. What the heck? So I started here by painting up that brick wall, and I just mixed together black, dark brown, light red and dark red. It kind of just mixed it together on the canvas there, and I'm enjoying the coloring here. It's kind of got that natural brick kind of look to him. Classic brick look, wow. I think I'm gonna let that dry up, and I might even just cut out the background here and have only the buildings be like the main piece, and I'll switch out different posters that have been painted. I want to say poster board. This sucks. So when the buildings are cut out here, I'm gonna have different poster boards in the background, so it can either be nighttime or daytime, just because I think if I paint the background daytime, everything that's gonna happen will be in the events of the day, and usually superhero stuff's always at night. Wow, it's so cool and edgy. So with this guy here, I'm probably just going to cut out the stuff before painting it, and that is what the first building's looking like so far. Looking pretty dope. I'm probably still gonna touch up everything and add little details and whatnot, but for the main part, I think it's looking super cool. Add the moss and everything just to give it that cool look. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, pretty good. Hey, that's pretty cool. So this is kind of the vibe I got going on here. You can see I've cut out the background and I've just left the buildings there. This guy here, I'm not gonna bother painting because I'm gonna be hot gluing that building there. Already looking pretty dope. I still need to do the door, and I'm in the process of making these two buildings. And for the ones in the back, I might keep some of them kind of painted black so they looks like they're further in the background, or I might just kind of add some detail. I'll probably just paint them up in the back and make them their own kind of buildings, but I'm very excited to see where this kind of goes. Again, that guy's drying, and with the sidewalk here, these are the previous sidewalks. I think I might just keep these and repaint them, and right now I'm just going to be in the process of painting up these buildings. It is such a mess in my craft/toy room right now, and all this old cardboard that I will not be using needs to go to the dump. I drew these up just to make it look like there's a store kind of going on before I glue everything together, and I'm kind of torn on the way those look, just because I wanted to give the detail, but again, they're kind of like giving that comic book aesthetic, and I don't think that really goes with that building, so I might just scrap that idea and keep it plain like that, and then glue it all together. I had a little comic shop as well, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Again, I have the pieces of plastic here, which are going to be over the windows, in front of the doors, and then when that's all in, I'm gonna kind of get like the border of the door there. See with that guy over there. I think I'm gonna make that one a bar? Question mark? But coming together. Alright, so currently I have done a lot of work on all of these different buildings here. I'm just currently adding all the little extra details now. I think for the most part this building is done. I might add some white paint in the windows there to kind of make it look like you can see the glare of the window. But I added the mailbox and the door hinge and stuff just with air dry clay and painted it up. This is going to be a little shopper's mart in the middle there. And there's like a Red Bull sign up on the top there. And this is the one where there's magnets on the back. So that building to the side here, and obviously this one will be able to kind of switch out there. And that one still needs a little bit more detail as well, but that'll be a comic shop. This building here, I'm just kind of doing the outside of a bar. On the side there you can see there is a little sign. Again, that's made of clay as well. A lot of these little parts here are clay. So if you're wondering how specific parts are coming out like that, air dry clay, my friend, my little symbiote. And then that kind of brings us over here. I've been adding a lot of little details. Even made another sign there that's kind of been hit with graffiti. And this building as well. I'm almost done everything, and then I'll show you the whole dio all put together. Whoa. Okay, so I finally think I am getting to a place where I actually enjoy the way this wall is looking. The way that some of the bricks actually were able to stay on the cardboard. It gave it a lot of depth having the bricks be up front. And I'm going to be having the dark gray first in the background. Then I'm going to dry brush lighter gray over top of it to give it that very worn down brick wall look. I kind of mess with it actually. I'm going to add a lot of different moss glued to the bottom here, just because I want to really get that worn down aesthetic look even more so. And I think I'm just going to keep this being its own separate wall where I can move it wherever I need depending on the scene. I might have to put a border at the top there, but it's turning out looking dope, I think. We're so close to being done, boys. Okay, after a couple of weeks of work, I think we're finally done the street dio here. I'm very excited with how it's turned out. It's definitely a way cooler vibe, I think, than my previous dio. I've definitely done a lot of work off camera here, so I think we're just going to jump into a certain part of the dio and then kind of look at all the details up close. So kind of in the corner here, this is half of the alleyway display that I've previously made. I've done a separate video on that if you want to check out how I've done this one, but because the walls are able to kind of be moved around, I only kind of have half of the alleyway kind of put in here just to kind of fill out the room and give the aesthetic that there is a lot more kind of life happening behind just the main street diorama. Over here you can see a lot of those little details. Got a skateboard here, got just random bricks, got a can of spray paint, got bottles and cardboard and garbage kind of everywhere. You can see different graffiti on this building here. And up at the top there is a sign just advertising some fake soda thing that has been hit with a bunch of graffiti. And again, going down, there's a little AC unit there. More graffiti and stuff on the side. There is that custom fence there. Bunch of little cans and everything. That's going to bring us over to kind of the main diorama piece here. Bunch of graffiti going on. Doorbell and everything. Now the windows at the back there do have a clear coat, so they kind of have that glossy, transparent look to them. And then a bunch of different details and graffiti over here as well. And then a shot of the road here. I definitely enjoy this vibe over the kind of like worn, used up cardboard look I had going on. This kind of has a little bit more depth to it. Kind of makes it look like an actual pavement road there. And then more graffiti and stuff. And I just finished this one here. This is the comic shop. All the different details there. Now with these guys, there is magnets on the back like I previously shown off. And this is a different one here. It's a grocery shop that I got going on. I still need to add something at the top there, and I think a little sign kind of near the top there as well, so I can kind of interchange which building I want there. And then there's still some graffiti that carries us way over. It's kind of getting covered, but throwing that in there, that looks super dope as well. Kind of get a bit more of that graffiti with this guy. Got like that awning kind of in the front there. And just again, regular kind of building on this corner here. And there's a basketball hoop with a basketball. And then got like a bar going on here. Got that kind of neon sign there made out of clay. And in the back here, there is that kind of crumbled up brick wall. I didn't really know if I was going to keep or not. I'm going to keep it now. I think it turned out looking cool enough. And it's gonna, well, it's doing its job. It's going to be kind of in the background to kind of give more depth and more life that there's other buildings behind the ones that you can see right now. And then back here it is the other half of that alleyway display. There is that custom fence that's kind of running by the back there. Kind of panning back here, you got a wide shot of everything that's going on. That looks wild. I'm gonna have to make more kind of sky posters to kind of fill that out, but that looks really cool. I'm very proud with how this one turned out. Definitely changed up the vibe for sure. Bringing in some characters here just for some size comparisons of what's kind of going on. There's the thing. What I've been liking doing off camera is throwing up if you'll let me do it. Getting Daredevil or just a character kind of perched up on the building there is really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to expand the sky in the background to get some cool shots where like the character's actually on the building and you can probably see them jumping off and landing onto the street. Dang, this looks wild, bro. Ooh, I'm very excited to make some videos with this one. This looks really cool. It's gonna be kind of like very closed off with the camera work here, so I don't really think the sky is gonna matter too much, but oh, it looks so cool. Now, if you have any questions on any parts of this dio that I didn't really show off, just leave a comment. I'll try my best to help you out. Some of these props, like these little bins, I just got from the dollar store, and most of these little suckers I've made out of clay. Again, the benches are kind of like more dollar store, thrifting kind of stores. That's where I picked those guys up. Yeah, thrifting, dollar store is kind of where I get most of these little props. Man, it's kind of dope seeing this fully done after working on it for so long. And the help wanted stuff and the little posters is just actually paper, and I kept the tape kind of looking like that just because I wanted the aesthetic of like someone just taped it up on the brick wall instead of kind of gluing it on there. I am mad hype. I think this turned out looking super dope. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope I showed off a decent amount of what I was doing, or telling you what I was doing. Sometimes when it comes to making little craft videos like this, I kind of do a lot of the work off screen, but I hope you enjoyed watching. You're definitely going to see this dio in more videos to come. And yeah, I think that's all. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching, bro.